Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Scene Snobs Podcast. It's Tuesday night. Thank you for joining in. If you're joining in live or you're listening to us later, thank you guys so much. Appreciate the support. I'm your host, Mick Manhattan, and we are starting a new tradition. Well, actually, it's kind of an old tradition, but it's kind of breathing new light into it, where we are bringing in guest co-hosts each week again. That's right. We did this a few years back in 2020, where each week we would have somebody new come in, somebody different walk of life, podcast hosts, actors, filmmakers, all different types of people coming, musicians, things like that. And we would have really good conversations, fun, sit down and be a part of the podcast. And it would just be a great time. So we're doing that again. And I want to introduce my first guest co-host, kind of revamping everything and bring it back in. But before I do, I want to say, if you guys are interested in being a guest co-host on the Scene Snobs podcast, reach out to us, send us a message somewhere on social media or thescenesnobs@gmail.com, or go to thescenesnobs.com. You can contact us there and such, and just let us know, and we'll send you the link and such and the information to do that. But without further ado, I want to bring on a man who really doesn't need to be introduced. The guy knows podcasting, and you know him. He's been on the show. Man, this is his third appearance on the show in just the past couple of months, and I'm so honored. But he has been on the show before. He's a great guy, great podcast host, and I'm so lucky to have him as my first guest co-host back, and that is Will Otero. What's going on, man? Welcome back.
Oh, man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be your first co-host in the new format. Thank you. Well,
Dude,
old format, new format.
Well, yeah, it's something different. I mean, it's all new, all old, everything's all.
Oh, listen, you always have to, especially in podcasting, we with way trends are going and everything, you always got to freshen it up and switch it up and do different things. So Absolutely. It's always good to. I just revamped a couple of things myself. So
yeah, it feels good to do that, kind of get those changes in, and just like, of course, after we lost Casey, it was kind of a big hit, but I went in, charged head first, and made some changes. But I thought it would be fun to get that interaction again. Like, we've had some great guests come on, but I thought it'd be fun to get like a guest co-host in, have those different walks of life come in and talk about different things.
And it's good on your part as well, because now you bring people on, they have a completely different audience. They promote, they're going to be co-hosts on your show, and that's a new set of eyes watching the Scene Snobs. So
True. I didn't even think about it that way, but yeah, no, it's a great bonus.
When it comes to podcasting, that's something I've learned is networking and building relationships, and definitely going on other shows and doing collaborations and stuff. It helps your podcast. It helps you as a brand, because now whoever is your co-host, they have a following. They have people that watch their show, so they might tune in, fall in love with the Scene Snobs, which I'm sure they will, because it's a great show. So
thank you. I appreciate that, brother. But before we get started, man, let's talk about your show. Let's talk about Stuck in My Mind, and tell us a little bit about it, what you do, where they can watch it, and everything is linked below, though, guys. So make sure in the description you go down, you follow Wize everywhere. But please tell us some more.
Oh man, Stuck in My Mind podcast is my baby. I started in 2020. I got furloughed from my job, and it was a way of me venting and letting out whatever I had in my head. But I wasn't really enjoying it until I really started interviewing people. And then when I started interviewing people and saw the impact that was having, that's what I wanted to do, was just keep having these great conversations and putting out some great content. And it's been a blast, man. These last 3.5 years, whatever, it's been amazing. Just being able to find my passion, being able to find something that I love to do, and being able to impact people's lives. Because when you get that message from someone that, hey, this episode, I had to hear it. Thank you. I needed the episode to help. And it's those messages that really inspire you and make you want to just keep going harder. do what the best you can, man. I just enjoy being able to help people and have people share a platform with people where they can share their stories and be able to help maybe someone's story can help uplift someone else. So
Yeah, and your show is so very much about with all of your guests that you're interviewing, they come on and with them telling their stories, it's so different and so eclectic at times because it's like you find people who are very specialized in certain areas.
bro, I've had all types of people. I've had celebrities, I've had coaches, friends from high school. People, everyone has an amazing story to share. Everyone has a story to share, and being able to give them that platform to share the story. Like today, I had a pretty cool guest, um, and it was cool. It was awesome because we spoke about what he went through in the 2008 housing crisis, and how he lost everything, and how he right after that he gets divorced and all this, and he has all these things just hitting him, and how he bounces back, starts a program to help people get through situations like this and go into coaching, and it's just crazy how people's lives, you just see how everyone has goes through struggles. Everyone has their good times, their bad times. It's how you respond and able to bounce back and being able to share those stories. Like I said, hopefully it inspires other people who are going through stuff and just bounce back.
Well, for you, what's a moment in podcasting for you, like where maybe you've talked to somebody, or just maybe you weren't talking to somebody, maybe it was just you talking, that was profound to you personally, where you walked away from it and you were like, you know what, this is it. This is what I'm doing, and this is where I need to keep continuing because this just hit right. Like I know this is it.
Oh man, there's been so many moments, man. One thing that's really impacted me was my first Podfest.
Nice.
That experience was amazing because I was in a building surrounded by like-minded people. I was
Mhm.
surrounded by people saw things the way I saw them, and just being able to be yourself and be authentic. Because now I'm at the stage in my I'm 47 years old. I just turned 47. I'm at a point in my life where I don't have time to not be myself. I love being able to express how I feel, um,
Yeah.
and just being able to let people see me. Being able to let people see me, and being around people like that was just a great feeling because everyone was so wanting to share their knowledge and wanting to help you grow and build. Because people think, oh, you're a podcaster. There's so many podcasts, but there's no competition really. It's what you set your mind to, and because you're doing a great job, bro. You
Thank
you
you.
you 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 have a great platform, and with your platform, you're doing so many wonderful things. So, and another thing that's impacted me as a podcaster is doing the charity events with you.
Yeah.
It's doing those events, is me being able to give back, being able to do that and give back, and do it for a good cause. It's those things that really have impacted me, and wanting and showing me that this is where I want to be at. This is the realm that I want to be in, because we can have such a lasting impact with what we do.
Mhm.
And you do some great, like, every time you put up, hey, I'm one of the first people up there
Yeah.
responding because I want to be a part of it, because I want to give back. I want to be able to share with the community, give back to the community, whatever I can, because that's what you're supposed to do. At least to
Yeah.
me, that's what you're supposed to do, is be able to help those that need to be helped. And so I love it, man. There's so many things about it that had so many moments. like I have a moment coming up soon. I get to co-host International Podcast Day event with Jeff Villa and oh damn, Maria Daniels.
That's gonna
And
be fun.
so those experiences are like they're still coming. So I'm looking forward to more of them. And yeah, but there's so many numerous ones that have shown me that I'm on the right path and I'm doing what I truly love to do. So
Yeah, man. Yeah, I get it, man. And it's definitely that feeling for me. Like I love being able to do this and being able to talk to people and then have that outreach of, and that outreach that just not only do I get to talk to people, but like I get to hear from people. I get to learn from people. Like what do people from all over the world have to teach me? I love that aspect of this. It's just something we never had in our childhood. So now, like in my 40s, like I'm like, this is amazing. Like we should all be taking advantage of this, and I just don't feel like it is being taken advantage of the way it should be.
bro, I've been able to speak to people from all over the world doing this. Like you said, this like growing up, I wouldn't have fathomed being able to speak to all the people, meet the people that I've met. I'm a big wrestling fan. I got to speak to Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. That was an amazing experience for me because, like I said, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I would never thought I got to speak to Vince Russo, who is one of the main guys in the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
There was so many different things that I've got to. I'm a I love movies, and The Warriors is one of my favorite movies.
nice, dude.
So
Right?
being able to speak to David Harris from that movie was amazing for me. It was like I was geeking out. I was a real fanboy. Like I was doing that interview, I was a straight up fanboy because The Warriors was one of my favorite movies of all times. And to speak to an actor that was involved in the movie and who played a big part in the movie was like, oh, I'm geeking out right now. So
No,
being able to have those moments is like, oh, I love it.
dude, and it is, yeah, and you put up some great interviews. You have some great questions too, and you're right to be able to do that and to go back and talk to people who have had such a profound, like that celebrity effect. I will say, because you can have profound moments with really anyone. Of course, family members, friends, just even strangers. But I like to call it the celebrity effect because like you have that moment where like you said like with Stevie Ray and David Harris and such, like it's these people that just like were bigger than life on screen for you because that's something that meant so much to you at a certain time in your life. And yeah, like being able to afforded that opportunity to be able to do that, like yeah, it means so much to be able to kind of hang out and learn something new. And actually, I got to sit down. Michael Paré, the actor who is
yes.
Yeah, I got to sit down with him and talk to him once, and we were talking about Streets of Fire, which was like
I love that movie. No, I know what that movie
right.
is. I know what that
I
movie is. You
love
gotta
it.
tell me. I love that movie.
And Walter Hill, that was his next movie after The Warriors. So like he went like kind of right into that one, and he said it was funny because he was living in New York City. Michael Paré was talking about living in New York City at the time, and he was living right across the street from Central Park, and he was friends with the lead actor. His name is Michael something. I can't remember his name at the moment, but it's the main actor in The Warriors. He was like very good friends with him. So when they were filming the Central Park scenes, he was just sitting outside watching them film, and he saw his buddy, so they started talking.
Yeah,
and like they were having a good time and stuff. And like he met Walter Hill, and then wound up being in the movie, his very next movie. It's crazy. But like just to hear him tell the story.
Streets of Fire was a great movie. There's some.
I love that movie, dude.
Like for me, oh man, growing up in the '80s and seeing my aunts used to run a video store, so I used to see movies all the time. So like new releases or movies they wanted to just tell us if it's good. So I saw all types of movies, man. So
Well, let's talk about some movies then. Let's get into it a little bit. And I love that your aunt's owned a video store, because that's where it always starts for us. You know, I think I wore this specifically knowing for you coming on, like that's just who we are. But so let's talk about 80s movies specifically, because it feels like one of the topics I wanted to talk about tonight was like streaming versus movie theaters, and not so much the what do you prefer, as it just seems like the streaming is taking over because it's just so much easier. But I feel like we're also getting bored with streaming, like the content they're putting out. Like it's fine to hold on to things, you know.
It's fun. It's crazy because even like for us growing up, yeah, Michael Beck. Yes, it is Michael Beck.
Right,
yes.
yeah.
So for us when we was growing up, when we saw movies, like if we didn't see movies in the movie theaters, we would see them at home and in TV, and we would see the cut version. We didn't see the original movie theater version because they didn't play those on TV. So going to the movies is what you wanted to do. You wanted to go to the movies and experience the movie. I remember going to see Neighbors, the John Belushi movie, with I'm a young ass kid. My brother's taking me to see this movie. It was crazy, but it was a great experience, man. I remember going to see The Lion King. We actually had to sit in this, like it was so packed that we was on the stairs sitting watching watching the movie. It was a different experience, man. It's like going to the movies back then for us was a big thing. Like it wasn't like how it is now. For us, going to the movies was, especially like if you ever went on your first date to movies. Like what was your first date? What was your first date movie?
Well, with my wife, my first date wasn't a movie with her, because here's why. Because movies generally were my first date. That's a great question, by the way. Thank you. Like when I would go out with a girl, like movies were generally always the first choice. Yeah. Like dinner and a movie, it was always like the easiest thing. So like when I met my wife and I knew it was different, the story had to be different, if that makes sense.
Oh no, like, me and the wife went bowling actually on our first date.
It's a good choice. Yeah, so I wanted her to have a different story than anyone else. So like, and I'm not saying it was always dinner and a movie, but that was always a good go-to. And it's not like I didn't care about any of the girls I was going out with, but like she became my wife. So like it was like I knew at that moment like this had to be different. So I took her to a used bookstore. And it was a used bookstore, and it was like this big one in this area that we lived in. And I said, here's what we're gonna do. I gave her a pen. I said, we're gonna go around and we're gonna pick out books and we're gonna write inspiring little notes to whoever buys this book. And we went around, maybe about 7 or 8 books. We wrote inspiring little notes. We picked up a couple of books just for us. And then we went to half of her family's, like her dad's side, is from Louisiana. So we went to a Louisiana Cajun restaurant.
Okay.
Had some dinner, and we wrote a story together. And the way we would do it is like one of us would start the first line, then take the next line, and then we would go all the way until the story was over.
Okay.
And then we were just like, and that was the date. And then like I took her home, dropped her off, and that was the night. And I just wanted to do something that like stood out, something I had never done with anyone before.
Yeah.
Now, as far as before my wife, taking girls to movies, what would be a good first date night type of movie? You could never go wrong, in my opinion, with a horror or a comedy.
Yes, those would be the best two, or romantic comedy. Yeah,
romantic comedy could be hit or miss though, because if you happen upon one that's sad, like say you go to The Notebook thinking this is going to be a romantic comedy, and the end we know they die.
Yeah,
you're walking out and you're not getting laid.
Yeah, no, not that. Of course not. But it was different. It was different. It was My first date movie was with a current girlfriend was Endgame.
James MCD reviews. That's awesome.
Okay. Endgame.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
She didn't see Infinity War though, so she hated him afterwards.
But I think for us it was just I don't know. There's so many movies that growing up.
I have one for you.
What?
Because what's your first date movie is a tough one. Because you think back, but no, here's one for you. What's your feel-good movie with each other? Like that movie where literally you can put it on and you both know you guys are like, this is our movie. This is it. Like, and you may not have it in the forefront because I can't even think of like ours, mine and my wife's, but like there's always at least one. If I really had to think hard, I'd say Super Troopers was definitely one of ours.
Super Troopers. I love that movie. That's a good one. I don't think me and the wife have one right now. Like, oh man,
I can't wait until that moment when you're like watching TV with her and you see it. You're gonna see it. Like something's gonna be on TV or you're gonna be flipping through something.
Yeah, I can't think of one right now though. Like,
that's when you're both gonna look at each other and be like,
you know why? You know why? I really don't like enjoying watching movies with my wife because I want to explain why. She asks too many questions. Like we'll be watching, it'd be the first time we're watching a movie together, right? The first time we've both seen the movie, and she's asking me questions about, and I'm like I'm watching it just as like we're watching it right now. Like I don't know the answers.
Drives me insane, and now the kids do it too. Like, what's going to happen? I'm like, I've never seen this before. I have no idea what's going to happen. I've never seen it. Yeah, but you always kind of know. And I'm like, no. And they're referring to the fact that like it's just script beats.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I can watch something and based on a script beat or like a formula of like what genre it is, I can figure it out. Doesn't mean I know exactly what's going to happen. But
yeah.
They never shut up about what's going to happen. And it drives me crazy because it's like, it's a constant. Yeah. And that's why like I tell the kids, I'm like, I don't know if I want you watching, like the 6-year-old doesn't watch like intense horror movies or anything, but like I tell them like, I don't know if I want you watching horror movies with me. I don't know if I want you watching these action movies because like you guys get intense about it and then it's like
so ask them questions. Yeah.
Oh, let's just watch something where nobody's in danger and you're completely fine. And then you're not going to ask me everything.
You know, and then she wonders, I'm like, we just both, I've never seen this. So when I do watch a movie without her, I still act like I've never seen it because I don't want her to ask me 20 questions.
Yeah, right? That makes sense. Or TV shows when it's a brand new, like you guys watch a show together and it's that week's new show and you're just like, come on. I don't know. No idea.
No. We got a bunch of shows that we watch and we'll sit down and we'll binge. We'll just fall asleep watching a show that we just got into FBI recently. And so now I guess we're caught up, I think. I don't know, but
oof. I can't do the long shows anymore. I can't do those long network shows anymore. I have to do short, no more than 10 episode shows or I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah, no, and then La Brea is another one that we got caught into.
Oh, nice. Okay. I haven't caught up on that one yet. I will say that AJ is putting up a pretty weird one. I'll give him that. Here's a crazy story. First date with my ex. I made dinner and we watched Teeth. She loved it. I don't know if you've seen Teeth, Wise, but that's the one with the girl who has teeth in her vagina.
Oh, yes, I remember that one. I don't think I've really watched it, but yes, I heard of it.
So if she Mike is definitely a Quibi guy. Mick is definitely a Quibi guy. I never got into it. I don't mind a long story. I'll sit there and watch the whole thing, or else watch short story or whatever, and whatever I have time for is really what it comes down to. My thing with Quibi was here and gone so fast. I just never got into it.
Yeah.
It was like that. Remember that weird 10-minute, like, oh, we're telling 10-minute stories every week, a new episode. I was like, all right.
Okay.
And then like 2 weeks in, it was like, okay, Quibi's done.
I guess people didn't enjoy the 10-minute story.
Yeah, I guess the story's over, bro. Oh man.
Yeah, no. It was like a show I'm watching now that I'm kind of right now. Season 2 is dragging a little. Is From, and I enjoyed the first season and stuff. So I haven't. I think I've seen the first episode of the second season. So we'll see.
It's a good one though.
Yeah, I like this.
Oh, sorry.
Horror. It's a horror. It's a horror show, and I enjoy it.
It's like vampire-esque, right? We don't. I mean, I'm sure they explain it on the show.
It's actually at night. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're vampires. I know they tear people apart. That's for sure. So, but the people they kill don't come back as anything. So, I don't know.
It's weird. I love it though. I love that. Like when I say weird, like that's like a badge of like honor to me. Like, yeah, I want to see that.
Well, like one of growing up, Traumaville was one of my that was one of my favorite studios.
Oh my god,
the Toxic Avenger, and
oh,
I used to love those stupid movies, like the Stuff. There's so many silly.
I love that one. Larry Cohen was so, it's funny because Larry Cohen is widely considered one of the founding fathers of the black exploitation film movement. And it was funny because if you haven't watched his documentary, you should. It's very good because one of his first movies in 1968 was Bone. And that was like one of the first films in black exploitation that like kind of sparked the movement to keep filming. And he was one of the first ones to get Fred Williamson into Star Wars.
Oh man, I love Fred Williamson.
Yeah. And he remember the movie Original Gangsters?
Yes, I did.
He directed that.
Oh man.
And he took the premise from I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, and said we should be doing this as a straight film with everyone. Like get the actual black exploitation kings and queens from the 70s and do it. And it's so funny to me, like, because I love that movie, but it is a direct ripoff of I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, a movie like none of them wanted to be in except for who was in it? Was it Jim Brown was in it? I think he was the only one that was like in that movie.
He was in Original Gangsters.
He was in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker too.
Yes, he was. Isaac Hayes was in it.
Yep, but they were both the ones that owned the barbecue shop.
Yes, Jim Brown and Isaac Hayes. Yes.
Yeah. Can I get a rib? How much for a rib?
That's actually Chris Rock's like one of his first roles.
Yeah.
Was the rib guy.
We're gonna do that on Sturdy's show Popcorn and Pint soon because he does the double features on there.
Yeah.
And those are my two choices. Because I was like, all right, you're looking for something that kind of matches and people have to figure out what. I want people to watch these two because if they do match, they're going to be a good one.
It's like when I go see my mom, right? They have Pluto, and Pluto has a lot of the old. Like I was watching Poltergeist 3 the other day when I went to visit my mom, and there was another movie, and I actually sat there and watched them. And it just brought me back to the times when I had first seen these movies a long time ago. But it's cool. It's cool when you can just catch an old movie that you enjoyed and just even with the commercials and still watch it.
You and I are very similar in that because I do like watching regular TV. I don't mind the commercials. It gives me my piss breaks if I need them. Just and not all the time. Like I need no commercials.
Like when it's a new movie, like for me, if it's a new movie, I'll sit and watch the uncut straight. But like when it's Pluto TV, it was Day of the Dead. That's what it was. I was watching. It was a zombie. It was just back-to-back zombie movies, and it was Day of the Dead. And the original where they're like in the plant or they're on the ground, and it was just brought back memories. I was just like, oh man, I miss watching movies like this.
Right. I mean, yeah, they show some stuff on there, and that's the thing. I like those because they're showing those movies that we saw like haphazardly, like because they were on TV as kids,
Mm-hmm.
and now like they just don't exist anywhere. You
Yeah.
know, and what I mean by that, because I know a lot of people are like, well, they don't just show those movies, but no, they show newer movies too. But those newer movies would be the equivalent of those like TV.
To us, yes. To
Yeah.
us, yeah. All the new movies that have come out, like the 2000 movies, is what would be to us those movies. Like for us,
Mm-hmm.
like growing up, because a lot of us seen a lot of movies later on in 80s and 90s. Like those are just the shows that the movies that would come on TV for us. But I enjoy it, man. I enjoy being able to, and then just to see the advancement of how they film these movies and everything.
Dude, for me to see like, I like coming up and seeing some of the old ones, and then kind of through the years, what I'll do is, as a cinephile, and I know you're a big movie fan too for this, but like to watch like the effects especially, but like it's more than that. It's the storytelling, things like that too. But I'll sit and I'll watch for specific reasons. Sometimes certain movies, like I'll piece them together. So like let's say it's effects. So I'll take Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which has a lot of effects for the 80s.
Yes.
Those very animated type of flashy effects for the times. And then like go into the 90s and then maybe take like a Mortal Kombat, which improved upon it. But then if you go into the 2000s and then you get into like another, like maybe more actiony movie, and then so on and so forth, it is like I'll watch it just to see where we've come from.
Yeah.
And all in terms of all those, like the evolution of it. And it really does. It is mind blowing how you can watch movies like that over the years, even like back to back, like now, watch movies from over the years and how different they are, and then go back to Jurassic Park and be like, how the fuck did this movie exist in 1993?
Yeah. And it was, oh man, I remember going to see Jurassic Park, man. Oh man. You know what movie I remember it was it's on the tip of my tongue right now. It's the one with the storm chasers.
Twister.
Yes, Twister. So when we went to go see Twister, man.
Another one that's like, how did this exist in the 90s?
Yeah, it was. I loved it, man. I love, and one of the scenes was the cow flying in the twist.
My God.
Oh man,
Dude,
be young and go to the movies and see those.
And just that stuff too, right? Like now, like it wouldn't phase you. Like it wouldn't phase a kid to see a cow in a movie blowing past in it.
No.
But that affected you.
Oh, it was one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Oh my God, man. It's just crazy. I like AJ is a big fan of Pluto TV too. And as everybody should be. And Chris says mine and my wife's was Scream and Scream 2 midnight showing. That was their like date night, their first date night.
Oh, yeah.
She's a horror bug like me. Still tightness. To get in together 26 years later. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Congratulations. Yeah. 26 years. Whew.
That's amazing. Yeah, man. So getting into it and like for you and especially with your aunts having owned a video store and being so close to going and renting and having that social experience and being a part of it, streaming now, how do you feel about it as compared to like maybe going to the movies or doing something?
Sometimes like I miss those times going to the video store and going to rent a movie and walking around and picking out different movies and going to see different genres, and Yeah, I know you have that option at home, but just the interaction, I guess, going to be excited to, like, as a kid or youngster, and your mom are like, "Hey, let's just go to the video store and get some movies." Like, "Oh yeah, let's do this. Yeah, let's go." And as a kid, you'd be excited. You're like, "Oh, I get to pick whatever movie I want to watch, get some popcorn, some candy, and then go home and watch a movie and chill." And but it was just the excitement of going to the video store and picking out your movie. And it was it was like me and my nephews, so we all got to pick our own movie and where we all went. So everyone had their selection. So
Yeah, it really did. And it was just one of those wonderful things to be able to go and do, and again, just experience, because like even when you got home and you had the stack of tapes there, like it was just a different world.
yeah,
The thing that gets lost on me, and again, I do love the convenience of streaming. It really helped in, during COVID and the isolation
yeah,
and everything, to be able to have it. And I think my biggest argument about streaming now versus going to movie theaters, like I like getting out, I like going to see the new movies in the theaters and such. So I am a big proponent for, like, we should be not shifting to exclusively going to see everything in theaters, but
yeah.
like we should be getting back out to try and go to theaters more. Support, do we can. I'd hate to see them die away,
Yeah,
but it's
we had a little theater here that closed down, and they sold the business, and it was called the Casino Theater, and it was a little saying it was a little old school theater. It wasn't like how the big theaters are, like Regal and all. No, it was a real small theater that it took you back to the old to when I was a kid growing up and watching movies. So it was different.
yeah, yeah. Those, unfortunately, those don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's just it's so different today, and sad to see kind of like all the different changes that we have. The nostalgia effect, like those small, like little two screen theater
Yeah.
houses, stuff like that, they're just gone now. And for me, like I said, like getting out to the theater, I think is important. My biggest problem, comparing the two, comparing the streaming and such, like for me, streaming is killing it in the TV world. It's better than the regular cable or network TV.
Yeah.
It's better than anything else you see on TV going on right now.
Yeah.
Movie wise, it's not killing it.
No,
Movie wise,
they're just pumping money into movies and scripts that they're just not, to me, not very creative, man. Like not enjoying them. I'm not enjoying the creativity of it all, and it's like they're rehashing a lot of the same stuff that we grew up watching, and they're not coming with any originality to me.
well, what do you? So for you, what are some things that like they're doing too much of? Like maybe they should. Yeah, like is it superhero films? Maybe it's too much of, or
No, because we didn't really have superhero films like that. We didn't really have like we had what, Captain America. It was horrible. um the only thing we really had was Michael Keaton's Batman. To me, that was like, and sorry, Christopher Reeve's Superman.
yeah.
Those were the ones that, but we didn't really have anything like what we have now as far as the MCU. We didn't have anything like that, and of course we had Blade. I think Blade is what set up the MCU for everyone else, but for us it was something different, and but oh yeah, Conan the Barbarian.
It's true.
That.
What's
But
up, Radar? What's up, Random?
I didn't even like that remake when they remade that, and it had
terrible.
it was horrible.
But the original, of course, is great.
Of course.
I love what they were doing. But I mean, we've definitely had comic book movies over the years and stuff like that. But like, no, I agree with you. Like nothing like the superhero stuff. Like not like today where it's huge. It's a they basically built a factory, in this studio, and they're pumping them out left and right. Back in the day, like when we were talking about like the old ones we saw, like the Hulk or Captain
But
America.
the Hulk
They're so
series, the
cheap.
Hulk series was different for us. Like to me, I love the Hulk as a kid growing up and watching that series. But it was awesome. But
Go back to it now, though.
Oh yeah, if you look at it now, you're like, oh man, and you experience the Hulk in the MCU, like, oh yeah, that's the Hulk that we read in the comic books, of course. The Hulk on the TV series was not the one we read in the comic books, of course, but it was still something. But everything, I just felt like they've what was it? What was this they remade? Point Break. I used to love Point
Jesus.
Break. I love Point Break. And then they go and remade it, and I was not happy with it.
No.
Like, there's certain movies that I don't want them to remake. Like, I don't ever remake The Lost Boys. Do not.
They tried. They got 2 sequels out of that one.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
God.
Tough
yeah,
one.
they were horrible.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, it's tough, man. And that was like the big thing, like when we were talking about the 80s earlier. For everything coming out in the 80s, like it just seems such like a weird time because everything just seems so different, for lack of, like, everything was like, I'm not saying that it was all original and everything being put out was just this like, but it was different. It was different.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying it was all good, but it was like you at least were getting things that seemed like they're experimental. Like there were just some things that were coming out in the 80s that you're just kind of like, I can't believe they actually made this. And it worked. Like, not only did they make it, but it worked in such a big way. But now, like, you don't see that. Like, look at Barbie now. Like, Barbie's an experiment within itself.
Yes.
Because Barbie was supposed to be, when Amy Schumer was attached to it, was going to be a train wreck type of comedy, like her movie Trainwreck, where she was Barbie in this world where it's like, and I don't know the exact details because they didn't release everything, but like it was supposed to be like this make fun of sort of who Barbie is sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they kept to that, but when they brought Greta Gerwig in, who is this Academy Award winning filmmaker and writer and such, and they bring her in, she changed everything around and decides, okay, well, I'm going to bring my own spin to this, and this is, if you're making me make a popcorn film, I'm going to make it a popcorn film that has something to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, and from someone, a friend of mine, a coworker, he said he didn't even consider it a real kids movie.
From what I understand, it wasn't really.
Yeah, no. So
it's, I mean, something like that, like it's, and that's like one of the most original movies I've seen come out in a while.
Yes.
And then you have Oppenheimer come out from Christopher Nolan. Now, the reason I want to talk about these two is because they just came out. They're 2 of the highest grossing movies. They outperformed even what they were expecting. Projected, expecting them to do. And the reason being is because people are saying that they're original, like they're different. Yeah, they're based on a toy and they're based on historical, but it's not Indiana Jones. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. It's not. It's something completely different out of it. And even if it's based on Barbie, it's a different type of story told by an Academy Award winning filmmaker. And then you have Oppenheimer told by an Academy Award winning filmmaker. And for everything, you look at Oppenheimer should not have done as well as it's done.
But again, people are craving originality. People are wanting something new and different. Like, we're getting hit with the Meg 2. We're getting hit with with some of these, like, okay, how far can we go with these movies? Like, what is this? It's not entertaining. They're not. But when you do create stuff like Oppenheimer and Barbie, where you're actually bringing something out original, the Barbie movie was never done like there's never been a Barbie movie. This is something different, original. They had their Barbie movies, but it was more animated than anything. This is live action. It's different. Oppenheimer telling the story of the atomic bomb and all all this, and so people are craving new content. They're craving new stuff. Like how many Fast and the Furious can we have? Like how many times can Toretto save the planet? Like
every time. That's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna call it now and just say every single time. No, it's true, and I like that these movies did well. I'm hoping going forward we're gonna see some changes. Maybe, hopefully, especially with this writer strike. Once it's over and it's done, maybe we'll see some newer, different things. Because
how do you feel about it? How would like you being more into that than I am, because you've acted and all that. How do you feel?
It has to happen. Unfortunately, it's at the point where there's so many things within Hollywood, the structure of Hollywood and how we're taking in information, taking in entertainment has changed in such a drastic way. I don't even think people realize it. And of course the pay isn't up to standards because it's all antiquated. The SAG, their last contract, I think, was maybe like 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago. WGA was maybe 15 years ago. So now we're into streaming. Now we're into all this. Like in that, yeah, the residuals are all over the place. They're not getting exactly what they deserve. And now you have so many people arguing, well, it's this, it's that. You're not making as many shows. It's less, series or this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, understandable. But this all needs to be addressed, and it's not being addressed. And it's not in the contracts, and you're not figuring it out. They're just not paying. So above all of that, now so it's just kind of Wild West, like craziness where these writers aren't being paid. Now, on top of that, everybody's worried about like the high up actors. Now, will they benefit from more money, more in residual things? Yes, of course. But it's the way the structure works in SAG. Everyone benefits because it's a percentage game. Now, I'm not saying that the way they work it is perfect. I'm not saying that it should be the way it goes, but it is a communal thing. It is how it goes. It's all the money in the pot, and that's kind of how it works out. The percentage of what they ask for. So the lower on the totem pole needs that. Like I saw somebody talking about how they made $900 a day, and that was the scale, the daily scale. When I was working in the industry, I think it was like $783 was the daily scale for a SAG actor. So now I guess maybe it's at 900. But somebody has started complaining. It was like, you make $900 a day, and this is it. Like, yeah, but they might work for one day that month. You're not getting like they're acting. It might be a one-day shoot, and that's $900 for that one day, and that doesn't mean they're still not working like a regular 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're talking about them like they are. I almost said Michelle Pfeiffer, like this is 1988. You're talking about them like they're Scarlett Johansson or something, and they're not. Like this is a day player, and that's who this ultimately needs to protect, is the day players, and needs to protect the extras, all the people who are down below the line who need to make that money. And also it needs to really step up and make rules on the AI. AI is the thing that is the scary thing right now, because it's going to take a lot of jobs away if we don't have some sort of rules in place.
Yeah, because you're able to create whole movies with AI, like with the way the technology is going. And I'm listen. I there's certain tools I use, AI tools that I use to help with my podcast, but just some of the things you're able to do, it's amazing. And so yeah, there should be things to be able to protect people's likeness, their voices, everything. if you take anyone's likeness or voice, they should be compensated for that.
Yeah.
There's things that need to be put in place that protect these people's likeness, brands, everything. So yeah, I agree with you. There should be something in place that will protect them from what is coming.
Yeah. So Chris says,
I actually like Dolph's Punisher more than Thomas Jane's.
Yeah, I think it's a better story.
Yes.
Personally, I do agree with you. Paul McPerfstone is all over here. He loves podcasts. He listens all the time. He wants to listen he listens while staring at a clogged toilet, swirling my chest hair. He wants to smell me after I jog. He loves me. Thanks, Paul.
Oh man,
I love the trolls. All right, well, this is where we start to wind down, and I want to thank you, my friend Wize. Thank you so much for coming on and being my guest co-host tonight. Please do it again. I would love to have you back on again to do it.
I love doing this, man. I'm kind of jealous because my podcast isn't like movies and stuff like that. So it kind of like when I get to do shows like this, I enjoy it because I love movies. So I've never thought about doing anything as for like a podcast but I love this, man. I'm being able to come on your show and talk about movies and talk pop culture and all that. It's something I love to talk about.
Well, let's do it again, man. You got the link.
Definitely.
Click it. Let's get you on the board again. Let's do this. I love it. There's definitely no shortage of hanging out and doing this stuff. So it's gonna be fun.
They're gonna get sick and tired of watching me here.
Well, I appreciate you, Wize. Thank you guys so much. Everybody go check out the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Everything's linked below in the description. Just want to say thank you again to Wize. Really appreciate you jumping in, man, doing this. You are awesome. It's always great to have a fun conversation with you, man. But before you go,
I get to pick my movie now, right?
Yeah. I'm asking everybody who comes on the guest co-host to recommend a movie for everybody to watch. What is your movie that you recommend?
Kandahar.
Oh, wow. Okay, very cool. Kandahar.
I just seen it a couple of weeks ago, and I've really enjoyed it. It was a really good movie to me. So yeah, definitely check it out. Have you seen it?
I saw it a long time ago, but I have seen it.
Oh, okay.
It's like what, 5-6 years old?
No.
How long ago is it?
No, I don't think it's that old.
Is it that? I thought it was like 5 or 6 years old.
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
2023. Why am I thinking it was 5 or 6 years old?
It's just recent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it just came out.
The one with Gerard Butler. Yeah.
Yeah.
This just came out?
This just came out.
What the hell am I thinking of?
Well, he's had so many movies, man. He's had Plane. He's had so many movies.
Did Plane come out a few years ago? Dude,
Gerard Butler. Years or so, yeah. And Greenland, he had Greenland. Yeah, Gerard Butler's.
I'm trying to think of like all the movies Gerard Butler was in. He was in so many.
But yeah,
I'll check it out because it looks familiar. It's the one in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen this one, but I don't remember. I thought I saw it a few years ago. Watch, I'm gonna watch it, and it's gonna be something. It's gonna be like London Has Fallen or something. It's gonna be something completely different. Oh, that's not it.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, man.
All right. Well, from 2023, check out Kandahar. That is Wize's recommendation. I appreciate it. Thank you, and we will. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And everybody, go check out the podcast. Wize, we will see you again, my friend. Thanks again. Definitely. And we are going to get ready to go. But thanks again for joining in, brother.
My pleasure, brother. My pleasure.
All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Before we do, I do want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Entertainment Earth. If you guys are not checking out Entertainment Earth, it is the one-stop shop for all awesome collectibles. I get my Funko Pops on there and other stuff. If you guys are looking for cool collectibles and things like that, go on there. Use our affiliate link down below in the description. You get 10% off. If you spend over $59, I believe you get free shipping and another 10% off. So it's pretty awesome. Entertainment Earth. It's very cool. Having a lot of fun with it. Thank you guys for joining in on this. So, and especially even you, Paul McPervstone. But let's get started on our final segments for this evening, and that is Snobs Movie Summer School. And we're going to talk about marketing for your film. And the reason I'm talking about Barbenheimer is this isn't going to be how to market your film, things like that. Because as you guys may know, we are doing our patron Snobs Film School, where we're going to be talking about all aspects. We're going to have video series. We're going to have other areas where we talk about things, AMAs, stuff like that. So we will be getting really in depth. I'm going to be doing a video series on how to market your film for independent, how they market films, and what marketing budgets and things like and stuff like that look for in Hollywood and studio size. How to put marketing on your budget on both sizes, whether it's multi-million or you're just doing an independent piece that has a smaller budget, things like that. We will be doing all that and covering it. This is more about, what's available to you. And I know in today's world, we deal so much in social media marketing just on ourselves. We're everybody's got a podcast today or this, that, and the other thing. We're doing content creation. So marketing is something that's sort of becoming ingratiated in us. But I see when it comes to films, especially independent films, we are losing sight and losing track of those things. We're losing, how to market your film. A lot of people seem to think that the best way to do it is to make an Indiegogo, maybe make some perks, which is always a great idea, and I'm not saying Indiegogo, but you have Kickstarter, you have other things as well. I guess it really depends on what you choose to go with. But you have to get outside of the box if you want to make money for your film. It's very vitally important. Again, when we talk about the budgeting side of things, we'll get more in depth in it, but it is very, very important that before you start anything in terms of crowdfunding, in terms of budget raising, anything, to have a budget in place. And I'm talking about a line item budget all set up that tells you and spells out everything that you aren't going to need all the way through. Have your schedule ready and what it's going to look like and how long you're going to film, things like that. I know it seems crazy to some independent filmmakers. I've talked to a lot of people seem to think like, why do I need that? I don't understand. Maybe I'll make a spreadsheet or something, but it is so important to keep track of all this stuff, because when it comes time to collect, people are going to want to see that stuff. And when it comes time to it, you're going to want to keep track of it. You're going to want to know where everything is going. And when you're marketing your film, all too often do I see so many people not putting marketing budget in their budget. And it's really not that much to it, but you need to keep in mind having money to promote. Promoting on social media is huge. It's important. These companies all want your money. And now if you're not marketing the right way and you're not budgeting for it and putting like maybe $20 down to boost, hey, here's my Indiegogo. And make sure you're boosting the right things too. Don't be boosting the fun memes and stuff like that. It may suck people in. Boost the stuff that was actually informative to people. But make informative posts. Don't just post your Indiegogo and be like, hey, support my film. You have to make engaging, informative posts on all your social media, but you need to be on everything when you're marketing your films. You need to be all over the place. Use this social media as your key, as a key to get into exactly what you need. And I'm talking about before you even get to putting your movie out, before it's even made. I'm talking about raising funds. This is the marketing to raise your funds. We'll get to the point where I'm talking about marketing your film to get it out there, maybe find distribution for it, things like that. You're going to want to market it, especially when it's in film festivals. If you get into a film festival, you shouldn't just be saying, hey, I'm in this film festival. You should be marketing to people, come check out my film. It's playing at this film festival near you. Boost it near people in that film. Get more people to that film festival going to see your film. You get people to that film festival, see your film. Not only does that film festival love you as filmmakers, they're gonna praise you. You're gonna win awards. They're gonna pull you in. Now people are coming to see your film. Maybe they're seeing other films too. I don't know, but they're definitely coming to see your film. That's more word of mouth, pushing it forward, closer to distribution. You need to be thinking about all of these things, and you need to constantly be on top of it. One of a great indie filmmaker right now who's killing it in terms of crowdfunding is Dave Kerr, who is crowdfunding for his new movie, Return of Slasher Nurse. But he's done Go Away, he's done Bloody Summer Camp, he's done other movies as well. He starts and he keeps on going. He does lives every night to thank the people who are giving to him. He's doing fun contests for people to get into. His perks are always a good time. He remembers on set to get everything done that he needs to get done. It's all work for him. He spells it all out. And those are the things you need to think about when you're marketing your film. What is an asset? What is something you can use down the road? Everything can be used down the road. How so? He gets posters made up. Then when he's filming, he has the entire cast sign these posters while they're sitting there. Downtime, please sign these posters. And then they just sign. Now he has posters of this movie that isn't even out yet that he's filming, signed by the entire cast. There's your perks that you've promised to your crowdfunders. These are your things that you can give away at your premieres and your stuff like that. Or you can do giveaways at other areas, times, things like that. So it's so important. This is all marketing. This is all building your film, whether it's building your budget or whether it's building towards getting into a film festival, whether it's building towards getting to its distribution, or it's building towards getting people out to see it when it premieres, or just out to see it when it's in theaters. It's so important to remember all of these things. There's so many factors, and you need to keep on top of these things. So always make sure you're writing down everything. What can you be putting together? What type of perks? How are you not going on other independent crowdfunding sources and checking those out? But if you are not, and I'm telling you, if you're not planning from the beginning or budgeting for these things right off the bat, it's going to bite you in the butt. And I see it all too often where we have filmmakers who get their movie done, it's finished. Now they have no budget and they're writing to every film festival there is, asking them for waivers to get in. I was running a film festival for a long time. I've worked different film festivals. I've seen the emails. You get 100 to 200 emails a day of people asking, please, will you waive the fee? No, because there's 200 of you emailing me to waive the fee to let your movie in. If I waived the fee for everyone, we would not be able to put on a film festival. That's not how this works. You have to budget. This is big boy school. You want to be a filmmaker, step up. Remember, if you're making the movie just for you to sit there so you can watch it by yourself, then don't make a budget for any time after the movie's done. But if you want your movie out there, you want to find distribution, you want to put it in film festivals, you think it's that good, you can do it, then get your ass out there, get the budget, and really stick with it. Don't just find a budget and say, I can make the movie for this, and that's what I'm comfortable asking people for. Because if that's what you're comfortable asking people for, make a movie for less money then. And then you'll have your money for your marketing budget and your other things. But marketing is so goddamn important, and you have so many free tools to do it with. And you need to break out of your shell. And if you can't break out of your shell, you make a TikTok. You have actors at your disposal, and if they are there and they're willing to put in the time and the effort, and they care about the movie, they care about the project, they care about you, and they want to do it, every day have them filming videos, doing something different for TikTok, for the TikTok do it, if you are not comfortable doing it. But make sure they're coming out to see it. Make sure you're linking everything to it. Make sure the movie's getting shown. Make sure, you are putting content out there that's different each time. Every time you share something, it shouldn't just be your Indiegogo link. It should just be a poster for your movie. It shouldn't just be, I am looking for money. It shouldn't just be, it should be value. You should be teaching something. You should be making people laugh. You should, and I'm not just saying one or the other, this, that, and All of these things. Every day, you should be posting 2 or 3 times a day. If you want money for your movie, make people come to your page. Don't just tell them to follow. Make them come to your page. Make them come and follow. Make them come and ask about your movie. Put it in their face. Tease things. Figure it out. Have a good time. See what other people are doing and how it works and how you can attribute that to what you're trying to do with your movie. These things are very important for you to do. This is how you're going to get your movie out there. This is how you're going to get noticed. Make sure you're cutting clips. Make sure you're putting them up. Make sure you're doing different things. Marketing for your film is so important, and to have it out there and projected and just so everyone can see as much of what you want them to see as possible, so that way you can get it out there in front of as many eyes as possible, is important. With as little spending as possible. Don't go out and just renting movie theaters so you can have premieres and stuff like that. Make them want to show your movie. Make a distribution company want to pay attention. And why? Make film festivals want to show your movie. Well, make a good movie, first of all. That's first and foremost. But the marketing will keep them interested. Figure out how to do that. It's so important. And make sure, above all else, you budget for it. Again, this is more a philosophical type of conversation about it. I will get more in depth once we start talking about it over on the video series, over on our Patreon. So if you guys are interested, you can head over to our Patreon. We'll talk about it there. We have all different types of tiers. You can go see what's available. But the Patreon series, the video series, starts at the $5 tier. So go check it out. All right. That is Snobs Film Summer School, Snobs Movie Summer School. We're talking about marketing for marketing for your film. And the reason I called it Barbenheimer is because, for all intents and purposes, you take Chris Nolan out of it. You take the name Chris Nolan out of it, who sells tickets on his own because he is such a well-known, world-renowned filmmaker. And you take Oppenheimer, which, yes, has great actors in it. It looks like a great film. That film should not have done well. The cross-marketing with Barbie, well, no, it should have done well, but it shouldn't have done as well as it did. The cross-marketing with Barbie is what really propelled that movie to do as well as it did. It went over projection because of Barbie. That is a hell of a thing to market. And it didn't even have to do anything. It just allowed people to do it. You can make that happen with your movie. You can make people talk about those things. Now, is that two wild storms coming together? And why am I talking about those two things in particular? I'm saying these are the type of marketing that stand out. And when you have social media and you don't have studios standing over you doing the marketing for you, and it's just you with your personal independent film, you can do intriguing things like this. Make your film stand out. So do it. Figure out what works. The reason Oppenheimer did so well is because it worked with Barbenheimer. That became a marketing ploy, and it worked. So how are you going to make it work? What works for you? Maybe team up with other independent filmmakers. They have a movie done. You have a movie done. Let's double feature it. How's this going to work? Does that work? See how word of mouth. See how that helps out with each other. I'm throwing out ideas here, but whatever works for you, you got to try and utilize all the tools that you have to help you market these things. It is just too damn important. And I see so many things kind of fall and people not utilize it properly. Let's just post the poster. Oh, go check this out. Oh, this is going to be in this film festival. Oh, this is going to be here. Oh, this is going to be there. If my film gets in a film festival, and I know it's going to be on August 11th, whatever film festival it is. Let's say it's the Virginia Awesome Film Festival. So let's say it gets in there and it's on August 11th. From now until August 11th, if that is the only place it's going to be, I am going to be talking all about the Virginia Awesome Film Festival. I'm going to be talking to everybody in the Virginia Awesome Film Festival. I'm going to be on the Virginia Awesome Film Festival comment boards, talking to people saying, yeah, this is my movie. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I hope you guys will enjoy it. What do you guys think? Is it going to be fun? I'm going to be on the town board for whatever town the Virginia Awesome Film Festival's in, saying, hey, my film's going to be showing at this blah, blah, blah. I hope you guys can make it out. What's everybody doing? Like, what's it like? I'm coming out. Where should I go eat? What should I do? Connect with people. Make them want to come see your stuff. You need to do this stuff. This is how you get your film seen. It's so important. And I don't see enough people put in that work. And it really is important to keep that work going. James says, there have been so many weird counter-programming pairs over the years, but Barbenheimer has captured the internet's imagination the most. It's very true. I'm waiting to see if Saw Patrol has the same impact. We shall see. I started hearing about that. Paw Patrol, Saw Patrol. Saw 10 coming out the same day. It's people are thirsting for different. People are thirsting for stuff that, if they can get out and go to movies, make an event of it. And I've been saying this for a while when it comes to movie theaters, like they should be making more event worthy type of things, to go to. And there are some theaters that really do it. When they do it, they do well. It should be an event to go to a movie theater. If you were feeling that way when you go there, you're going to want to keep going back because it feels good. You don't mind passing over that money. It's like the Field of Dreams way of saying, doing things. Like, you don't mind handing over the money because you're enjoying it all. You know where it's going because the experience is worth the money you're giving. So that's exactly what you get when you have events at movies like this. Barbenheimer was an event. It was a great marketing tool. And they ran with it. And they loved it. And I loved that they were all about it. And that's what you guys need to do. Make it an event. Join in. Have fun with it. Get people going. Get people psyched for your movies. You have the ability to do it. But if you're not doing it, nobody else is going to, one. And two, if you're not doing it, why should anybody else? That's the key. Your whole cast will do it. Your whole crew will do it if you're doing it. You are the one to lead the charge. So that's my feelings on it. We will get more in depth, like I said, in the video series. But if you guys have any questions, we'll be handling them over there too with the AMAs and stuff like that. So, but feel free to message me anytime. All right, let's move on to our final segment of the night. So this week, a new movie, The Haunted Mansion, is coming out. So I thought I'd sit down, and this one comes from Jack. Did I just fix The Haunted Mansion from 2003? I think I did. I sat down again. I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times in my life. I don't know why, but I have. The Eddie Murphy film from 2003, The Haunted Mansion. This is the Disney film that came out based on a wildly successful and probably the most popular ride at Disney, The Haunted Mansion. I love it. It's a great ride. If you haven't been on it and you ever get a chance to go to Disney, you absolutely should go on it. It truly is. It's not my favorite ride. It wasn't always my favorite ride, but I did love it. My favorite ride, and this plays into what we're going to talk about tonight, but my favorite ride at Disney was always Pirates of the Caribbean. Here's why. It was just tranquil. If you went to Pirates of the Caribbean at night and just chilled, nobody was on it. You're just chilling on a raft, relaxing. And I dug it. I was like, this is cool. I like it. I like pirates, whatever. I'm hanging out, and you just chill on a raft, roaming free. You just right. I loved Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm probably the only one. Everybody thought it was boring, but I did. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Now, why am I bringing up Pirates of the Caribbean? Haunted Mansion from 2003, Eddie Murphy's Haunted Mansion, and Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp came out both in 2003. One in July, one in November. Now, when Pirates of the Caribbean, they're both being developed around the same time. Of course, Disney was trying to develop 2 movies. They were trying to develop movies based on their parks. They want to do a lot of different movies based on different rides within the park. Now, the first 2 that they wanted to start with was Pirates of the Caribbean, which was considered probably their most boring ride, and then Haunted Mansion, which is considered one of their best rides. They were really banking on Pirates of the Caribbean, on the Haunted Mansion being a good movie. They were also really banking on Pirates of the Caribbean, but because they just let it go. And I think that's where the downfall comes for the Haunted Mansion. Pirates of the Caribbean, Gore Verbinski took over. They had Bruckheimer stepped in. They let it go. They were like, okay, just make the movie. Let's have a good time with it and have fun. They weren't very hands-on with it. They let them go down to the Caribbean and do it and make the movie. And it, of course, was Pirates of the Caribbean. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite series. Absolutely fantastic franchise. I love that trilogy. And it's absolutely one of the best film series ever based on any type of ride or attraction or anything like that. And then you get to Haunted Mansion, which is where we're going with this. And the Haunted Mansion is one of the worst. Now, what makes that so different considering they were being developed is because they were hands-on in a studio with the Haunted Mansion. And the one big thing they wanted with the Haunted Mansion, because it is such a popular property, is they wanted to make sure they were doing something with it that would propel it to be even more popular. So they got Eddie Murphy, who was always a big go-to for them, big star. They made this big family comedy of it, so now family can come. They took a lot away from what we love about it. Now, if you've ever been to the Haunted Mansion ride, it's a lot. There's no big overwhelming story to it or anything like that. It's just a bunch of ghost stories surrounding this whole ride. Like that, you're being told ghost stories on this whole ride. And they got it right in the Muppet Haunted Mansion. They did special not too long ago. And I think they're going to do it pretty right in this new Haunted Mansion movie. I'm looking forward to it. But the reason they didn't get it right in this is because they made an Eddie Murphy movie. And that was the problem. I love Eddie Murphy. I think an Eddie Murphy movie, especially an Eddie Murphy horror comedy movie, I'm in. But you took the Haunted Mansion and then you didn't really use the mansion. You used some things. You even used the singing statues, but you had them sing like one bar of their famous song, and then they switched on to something else. It makes no sense. Like, you saw certain things from the Haunted Mansion that you're like, that's recognizable. That's cool. Oh, okay, that's cool. But you completely changed the story. You made it tone deaf. You made it this whole family type thing where you were making fun of the horror aspect of it, which you're never supposed to do in a horror comedy. The horror is always supposed to remain horror and scary. The comedy is supposed to be where it's funny. So you take it and you change it up. The action just didn't really work, again, because it's an Eddie Murphy movie. You're making an Eddie Murphy comedy movie. You're adding horror elements to it. You're trying to put the backdrop of the Haunted Mansion to it, and none of it worked. And you're changing up the whole story to it. Why? Everything could have worked. First of all, if you want to fix this movie, take Eddie Murphy out of it. He just didn't belong. I didn't mind any of the actors in this movie. Everybody's really good, but take them out. Change the story. Make it kind of like how they did it with the Muppets Haunted Mansion, where it's the actual Haunted Mansion, you're just trapped. And you're trapped, and make it sort of an anthology. Maybe not an outright anthology, although that would kind of be cool to see the ghost stories kind of play out. But maybe not an outright anthology, but like, you're trapped in here overnight. You have to survive, and you're dealing with these ghosts, or else you're trapped forever. Simple, to the point. What gets you there? I don't know. You could be a ghost hunter. Throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. And that would have worked better than Eddie Murphy's realtor, takes his family to go check out this house, see if he could sell it. It doesn't work. It just didn't work in that aspect. This, you can, like, hell, I think Gonzo took a bet in the Muppet movie one, and he bet he could stay there overnight, and that's why he was there. And it was subtle, it was easy, and we could join in, and there was horror aspects. They never made fun of the horror. They kept the comedy. Why do I keep comparing? Is because it's got it goddamn right. So that's what you need to do, and I'm hoping this new one will get it right. But if you want to fix this movie, you do not make fun of the horror. You keep it horror. If you want to add comedy, that's fine, but you just keep it within the comedy and you respect the horror. That's rule number one. Number two, you respect the Haunted Mansion. You make the Haunted Mansion the main character. That's the whole point. Don't call it the Haunted Mansion and say, okay, I want to follow Eddie Murphy around the whole time. Be there. Be my main character that I am following, but the Haunted Mansion is the thing that I want to see. Don't take me out of it. Show me the things that I want to see from the Haunted Mansion, things that I love. Even if you're going to tweak or change certain things, show me. So take him out. I wouldn't even, if you want to make it a family comedy, fine. There's elements that you can do that way that I think would work a little bit better. I think it would work better with a single mother. And I think that's kind of the aspect they're going with the new one. But a mother with maybe 2 kids who kind of get stuck in, maybe even kind of go with the 13 ghosts, like inheriting the house, and they have to but they have to survive a night to inherit the house. It's been an old story for a long time. I think that would help. Any one of these would have made the Haunted Mansion a better movie, but you really have to wipe away so much from that 2003 movie to make the movie work. Ultimately, you have to make the house the main character. You have to put us in there. You have to make the house want to scare us, try and kill us, whatever else you want. If you don't want it an out-and-out horror, you want it a family film, fine, add a family element. If you want it to be an outright horror, fine, but it's Disney, so it's never going to be what happens. But do not make it so much of a comedy that it is. And even the Haunted Mansion that they were in wasn't the Haunted Mansion, so that pissed me off. But yeah, like if you're going to fix this, you just got to take the elements of the 2003 version out, respect what the attraction gives us, put that in there, put actors in there who are respecting the horror, playing up the comedy. You can still have the family element, add more stories to it that they have to, maybe through those stories, they have to figure out a mystery to help them get out or solve what's going on. You don't have to save a ghost every time. Sometimes it's just to get out. But that's just my feelings on it. But let's see what everybody else is saying. And let me know what you think. Did I fix it? Sound off in the comments. If I didn't, let me know. But would you go see a movie that didn't have to do what happened in 2003? I watched the 2003 Haunted Mansion for a bucket list, and while it wasn't as bad as I thought, it was very in one ear and out the other. Yeah. I feel like the movie is more of a capital sin for fans of the ride. I don't remember riding it. Tony Goldmark said it best. The 2003 Haunted Mansion felt like an apology for the first Pirates being so subversive. See, I disagree. I love the first Pirates. Pluto Nash doesn't belong in a haunted house movie. No, he really doesn't. The Haunted Mansion should have stayed haunted at the end. The whole curse being broken really annoyed me. It did. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of elements to it. Like the Haunted Mansion should have been haunted. It should have been them trying to get out. That was it. There shouldn't have been any, like you can have a butler, you can have like the maid, you can have like the groundskeeper, you can have all of these characters, but they have to be in the house for a reason, and they don't all have to be connected. The house can be standing for a long time, and a lot of these stories exist for a reason. And that's what I loved about it. It's like it's on a cemetery. You have so many ghosts. Why can't we tell just different stories? And that's just how I would have fixed it. But that's kind of where I'm at. I would love to know what you guys think. Sound off. Let me know. Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? What would you fix about it? Are you going to go see the new movie? Are you going to go see the new Haunted Mansion movie when it comes out? Let me know. Thank you guys for joining. I want to thank my guest co-host Wize for joining in. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. Next week, I'll have Chris Ridings joining in. Actor from Heavy Duty Man coming out and a bunch of other movies. So he's going to be joining me. We're going to have a fun conversation talking about things from the actor perspective. And we're going to be getting into it a little bit. So join us then. We'll have a whole new movie to fix, and we'll have a whole new Snobs movie summer school. We're going to be getting into it some more. So thank you guys again for joining in. I hope you guys are having a good time. I appreciate you guys joining in and being a part of this. And it's just like I always have a fun time doing this with you guys. You guys are amazing, and you guys being a part of the conversation is always really fun for me. Please, I ask if you guys are watching on YouTube live, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Really helps us go a long way. Hit the notification bell because we always have new stuff coming out all the time. If you are listening to us at a later date, maybe think about going to check out the YouTube. Let us know what you think. But if you are listening to us, thank you so much for listening to us. Please make sure to follow and rate and review us. That, again, helps us go a long way as well. Thank you guys so much. You are all so awesome. I am Mick. Please take care of each other, love each other, be kind. And I love you all, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon.